Hey guys, what's up? Now, during these all days, for the past 1 week, I have been receiving a lot of queries regarding how to stay focused on your studies, how to crack PI and extramper, and then after how to avoid distractions in your life. Now, once you are in this life, you have to realize one thing that you will face distractions in your life because that is a part and parcel of your life. Once you take birth and throughout this course of life till the time you die, you develop a lot of emotions. Now, in this entire course of life, in order to achieve something great, it's very important to have peace in this mind. Now, to achieve this peace, it's very important that we look inside our own self. We look everywhere, we look to the external world, we go to others for motivation. That's a good thing, that's not at all a bad thing. There are a lot of people on internet, there are a lot of people in the physical world who are actually doing a great job for motivating people and to make them able to achieve something great in their life. But the most important part of all this is also to make you realize that how to look within our own self. It's important to look within, and that's how the concept of meditation and yoga came into existence in the Indian culture. It's important to control anger. Now let's talk about anger in somewhat Indian context in details. Now you actually get angry, so it all happens here. It's all chemical reactions that you have to understand. It's chemical reactions happening in your brain that stimulates your nervous system and you become angry. So whatever is happening inside your brain that can be controlled, that can be learned, that can be unlearned. So it's important that throughout this course, throughout this journey in life, we are always there to learn something new. But at the same time, it's very important to unlearn the things which are not useful in our life. So this anger can be controlled. So whenever you're becoming angry, you should tell to your mind that it's me who is actually becoming angry, so I can control that thing. Now, I was there with one of my friend, Shubhankit, and he just told to me that, Rishikesh, what do you actually do when you actually become angry? And I told that I start counting like from 100 backwards. And he just advised me one thing, that he told that, okay, it's totally okay to count 100 backwards, but try doing it in Hindi. Now, what was the meaning of that actually? If you see that, if you analyze that statement, the thing is that you need to divert your mind to some other things. So whenever you start feeling frustrated, whenever you start feeling angry, whenever you start feeling jealousy, which is actually a normal human emotion, you should actually try to distract your mind to something else. And that may be achieved by counting backwards, that may be achieved by by actually watching comedy shows and all. Okay. Now, the second thing which I usually get the students seem to be concerned about is how to remain focused on something, how to remain focused on studies. Now, in order to remain focused, it's very important that you have a singular vision of the things that you want to achieve in your life. Now, what I follow even today and during my preparations for CAT exam, and even earlier to that, and I will follow it throughout my life, is a habit to dream things which we actually want to accomplish in our life. Now, what about this thing? What is this thing dream all about? Now, I will tell you this thing. The mind can be divided into two categories. One is a conscious mind, the other one is a subconscious mind. Although there has been a lot of writers who have actually divided the mind into many more categories, but let us analyze these two things in details. Now, a conscious mind is filled with preconceptions, is filled with stereotypes, and this is what you have learned from the time you actually took birth. So whatever things that you are actually learning, you took birth and you saw your mother crying when somebody dies in your house. And what did you learn? You learned that I need to cry when somebody dies in our house. Now, if you were taught a thing that you need to smile when something bad happens in your life, you would have smiled. So I agree to this point that the emotions inside our mind are actually stimulated by hormones. But the hormones do not know to which stimulus they should react upon. And that is actually controlled by our societal environment. So those things can be controlled. So once you dream, what you do is that you allow your subconscious mind to overtake your conscious mind. And the subconscious mind is free of all the prejudices. And it will always tell you the right thing. And that's how you see the narco test and all the things which is done by the police to actually take out truth from criminals, because once you give drugs to a person, he actually start thinking from his subconscious mind. So once you are sleeping, try that at least take out 15 minutes before the time you sleep to dream about the thing, to visualize the things which you actually want to achieve in your life. At the same time, when you wake up, just take out a diary and write all the things that you want to achieve in your life. If you repeat it for even 4 days regularly, you will see an enormous difference in your life, enormous amount of positivity coming inside. And this positivity will help you achieve any goal in your life. This has happened to me. This has happened to a number of people who are there inside FMS, and at most of the good positions, we are nothing. This has happened to people who are very great. I've read it in a number of books, so I'll advise you to follow this thing. Suppose you want to study today for 8 hours. Just remember one thing: I have to dream a thing that tomorrow I'm going to study for 8 hours, and the next day, your subconscious mind will actually prepare you to work for 8 hours. Now, how to control jealousy? See, jealousy is a normal human emotion, and that develops because of 2 factors. Is that we actually start thinking that we are incapable of doing the things which the other person has actually done. And the second thing is that we think that our situations are somewhat more difficult, and we think that the other person is having more congenial conditions in order to achieve success. Now, these 2 factors which actually create jealousy are the creations of our own mind. None of the problems are bigger than a human being. Whosoever is great in this world, you should not see his stature which is there in front of you. You should go back, you should see his life, and once you will see his life, you will find that he or she also passed through a lot of debacles, a lot of failures in his life. But there was one difference: he took every failure as a success. Confused? Every failure is actually a success, because it keeps you down, it helps you realize what are the areas, what are the gray areas where I need to improve upon. So failure is also a success, and success is also a failure. So both the terms, I consider them to be synonyms. And you should develop a mindset where you start considering failure as a thing which will lead to another level of success. Once you start doing it, you never get frustrated with failures, and you never get over happy with the success that you have achieved. And that's the time when you have become a mature human being. Now, one thing which my friend has actually pointed out and he told me to discuss with you, which I think is very important, is the use of social media sites. So I'll tell you one thing: social media sites are a good way of interacting with people. But once we are actually focusing on some goals, what happens at this age of around 18 to 22 years of age, we actually get distracted by a lot number of things. So once you see your friend posting something on Facebook, you easily get distracted from your goals. It's important to use social media in the right way. Friendship is okay, socialization is okay. But it's also important to give some peace time to your own self. It's important to sit down in a room silently, think about your own strengths, about your own weaknesses. And that's where the role of meditation and yoga comes into picture. So social media, the use of it is all okay, but it should not be overused. It should not be used to see what others are actually doing. That thing is important, but what you are doing is actually more important. And for that, it's important to look within your own self. Now, these lessons are actually lessons, and these will be beneficial for you only if you can implement that in your life. And we hope that these things are very important for our life, because getting a CAT percentile is not enough to become successful in the longer run of life. Because if you want to become successful in longer run, you have to have a peace of mind, a calm mind. You have to develop leadership abilities, and these all things will come into picture once you are into the corporate world, once you come out of a B school, and that's where you actually achieve success. So thanks a lot for watching this video, and we shall continue this thing in the later part of our journey too. Thanks a lot, and all the best for your exams.